Anyway, I was telling you guys we were gonna uh, go off the rails a little bit today and bring on some guests that aren't really known for boxing, but they're known as a comedy duo. And I want to introduce you guys right now to the comedy duo of Tom and Jerry. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I messed up. Tom and Jerry are coming on another time. What we have is the comedy duo from the podcast that's taken the world by storm. It's called Above My Pay Grade. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, please welcome Jeremy and Jimmy. What's up, guys?
Hey, Billy, I didn't know this was all ages. We got to watch what we say then.
Yeah, you got to be careful. First of all, tell us about the podcast, man, that's taking the world by storm.
Yeah, we focus a lot on woke culture. No, I'm kidding.
No. Hey, we have a real bad connection.
Yeah. No, I meant work. So first of all, Bill, huge fan of Talkin Boxing for years, obviously. So, Jimmy and I are like, man, this guy's got the mansions. He's got the Rolls Royces. He's got the limos, the gold chains. How do we get that?
Wait a minute. You must be listening to the old morning show tape. That's what you must be listening to, because that was all a fabrication. Hey, look at my mediocre studio, and look at your fancy studio.
We just finished building this one.
Yeah, no, I know. I can't believe you
AI.
got a brick, solid brick. I could tell it's solid brick from here.
So listen, Above My Pay Grade is basically a podcast Jimmy and I came up with. We've known each other since what, Jim? Ninth grade?
Ninth grade.
Yeah.
Ninth grade.
We were doing a podcast in science class in ninth grade. It was only funny to us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
did you pass?
Barely.
Barely.
Oh, that's why you're doing the podcast.
Yeah, that's why we're doing a podcast. We don't have a real job. So, we've always been messing around. People are like, you guys should record each other, do a podcast. So, we had this idea to Billy, you're the king of podcasting. You need a niche, right? You need, podcasting's so filled with celebrities. They're not making enough money. They don't have enough to do. Right. So they got to take over podcasting. Thanks a lot. So, we're trying to focus on, work, corporate lifestyle, things like that. There's so much to riff on and make fun of in that world. So that's really like our niche there, is that, we talk about, what it's like living in corporate America, and we screw around and make fun of each other a lot. Right, Jim?
Yeah, that part comes natural. We've been doing that since ninth grade. But the one thing that we do is we try to pick a topic and stick to it. But the sticking to it part is really hard for us, because we'll start going off on tangents. We just start going, wherever it takes us. Sometimes it's not good, and definitely not G-rated. So we're not going to keep it clean here, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little about boxing, because I know that you guys are big. Well, I know neither one of you are boxing fans, but I wanted to ask you some questions. Jeremy, I know that you're pro Jake Paul.
That's right. Yeah,
Why?
I am pro.
Why?
Listen, you could love or hate Jake Paul and his attitude and his mouth, but the boy is in the gym every single day training to box. He's a boxer. He's not a YouTuber. Make no mistake. He's not a YouTuber. Is he the greatest boxer in the world? No. But I've been listening to Talkin Boxing forever, and all these bastards on here going, oh, what are we going to do to get the young people into boxing again? Hello?
That's
Jake
one thing
Paul,
he's doing
dummies.
good. Yeah, he is doing that well.
But he's not a boxer, really. I mean,
he's an entertainer.
I'll tell you what he is. He's a great promoter.
He is a great promoter.
100%.
But he is a beginner in the sport of boxing. He trains every day and he fights. What is that called?
I think it's called steroids, but but listen,
there's no proof of that, Bill. Be careful, he'll sue you.
Yeah, no, I know. He won't get. He'll get this studio. I'll send him to yours. Look at your view.
It's in the drink.
But what I was going to ask you is, okay, so you mentioned Jake Paul. Well, here. That's a great segue to my next question.
Okay,
and I actually had it written down what I should say. But
Logan Paul.
Do you guys think that, since you well, Jimmy, I didn't hear if you thought that Jake Paul was a boxer. I know Jeremy did, but
it's funny because
would be considered as a boxer.
Not really. So I hear where you're. I would have to say I'm in the middle.
I'm looking for a new co-host.
Yeah. You.
He said, "Oh, he's good. He's. I'm neutral. I'm neutral.
I'm gonna
you
play
can't-
Switzerland.
You can't get
here.
mad at him.
And I'll tell you why. I watch his boxing skills. I think I've seen better boxing at a KFC in Poughkeepsie on Saturday night.
Yes, you have. You have.
Just calling it what it is. But at the same
I
point,
didn't say he was the best
no,
boxer.
you didn't. You didn't. But to your point, Billy, is that he is a great promoter, and that I do agree with. I agree with Jeremy. He is a really good promoter, and without him doing what he's done recently, he's really put boxing, not that it was ever off the map, but it's taken a little bit of a sleep, a little bit of a nap for a little while. He's woken it up again, and he's got a lot of young people.
A lot of eyes.
And with the eyes comes the money, and he's getting people paid good money, and hopefully we'll get a reignition of the sport and get people into it all over again. And I think he's starting to prove that right now.
Well,
so I will give him that.
I can't argue with that. He's definitely making some money. He's making some money for the fighters. He's kind of towing the line in terms of, realistic. I'm a boxing purist, so here's my question: do you guys think that boxing is becoming, will become, or already is an extension of the WWE? Because that is what I look at Jake Paul as, to be honest with you.
Yes. I'll take that first.
You go,
so
and then
I'm going to be honest. I see where you're coming from, and I have to agree with you again. It almost looks like sometimes
like the
it's
Tyson
scripted.
fight.
Yeah, and he's sitting there going, and no offense to the boxers that he's faced. They had great careers. Their numbers look good, and trust me, I don't care what you say. Tyson can be in a wheelchair. I'm still going to be afraid of the guy. I'm not going to go and step to him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, past their prime, I think so. And this is a young kid, younger than us. And you're like, maybe you should get some people on your level.
Right.
Start boxing them. But I got to tell you, we were watching one of the undercards the one night, and there was a couple of undercard fights that were amazing.
Great fights. Yeah.
I mean, they were going at each other, some really good fights. So it's like,
I don't know if it's going to become WWE, Bill, or if he's going to evolve as he grows up and gets better and doesn't need the spectacle as much, because he might have the skills to actually get a belt, right? Like, that's his goal. So I'm just saying, maybe one day you can't, everyone who fought 9 fights isn't ready for a belt, right? But you never know. The guy is in the gym every day.
Jeremy, there's a lot of belts out there.
I know. Yeah. But my point is, to what Jimmy was saying, the undercards he's putting on, those are real boxing fights. And those guys and girls are making more money than they ever have in their life, because he's very pro fighter pay. And really, it's just the spectacle of whatever he's doing in the main event that's a little WWE-ish. So I don't know if boxing is going to go that way, or if he's going to mature over time. I just don't know, Bill.
We see a lot of my main topic, which I'm going to get into a little bit later. We see a lot of these fighters today that are trying to emulate the success of Floyd Mayweather Jr. And when I say the success is that, whether you like him or not, and I'll leave my opinion.
Yeah.
But whether you like him or not, he was very successful in the ring, but he had a blueprint. And the blueprint was not what Terrence Crawford recently did with Canelo Alvarez, and a lot of fighters have followed that print because of his success, the money he's made, et cetera, et cetera. And then now you introduce a guy like Jake Paul, who's seemingly doing the same thing, and he's kicking it up 10 notches. When you say, oh, Jake Paul's a boxer, well, yeah, he's in the ring, he's in the gym. You can see that in his body, that he's definitely in shape. But this guy legitimately, now not including Mike Tyson, because like Jimmy said, Mike Tyson's pushing 60 years old, and I still believe that if Mike Tyson really went after him in that fight,
he would have beat the crap out of him.
And he did come out and admit that he got extra money not to knock him out. And a lot of he was chewing on his gloves. He was so frustrated that he couldn't punch him. But,
Billy does
better than an ear, Billy.
Yeah.
Better than an ear.
Right. Well, hey, a guy's got to eat, Jimmy. A guy's got to eat.
Jimmy chews on his glove, having to be co-host with me every time I open mouth. He's
what I'm saying is the only real fighter that Jake Paul stepped in the ring that you could say was Fury, Tommy Fury. And he lost that one.
He's the better Fury, right? No, I'm just kidding.
no, but I'm just saying that was the closest to a legitimate fighter. And Tommy Fury's no world beater, I mean, he's an ordinary fighter. He's not his brother, or cousin or whatever he is.
Let me ask you a question, Bill.
Oh, whoa, wait! Who's interviewing who here?
I'm taking over Talkin Boxing. Is Tommy Fury a boxer?
Tommy Fury is a boxer. Yeah,
he's a boxer. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though he did reality shows and all that stuff, he's a boxer.
He did that after, but he's trained and he's been a legit. Listen to you. He's a legitimate.
I'm coming at the king. No,
Hey, listen. He's part of that gypsy duet. I don't know. They fight over there. I think. No, but he's a legit fighter. I mean, he's not a top fighter, but he's a legit fighter. And I'm not expecting Jake Paul to step in the ring with, a real top, top 5, top 10 even fighter.
Well, not in his weight class anyway.
Yeah, this Tank Davis thing. I saw Tank Davis. That's happening. Tank Davis is really a guy that had all this immense talent. And he's doing a money grab. I can't blame him. I would too. I'd be honest. I would too. But
it's like Jimmy fighting a middle schooler. I'd pay to watch that.
Hey, listen, if you're going to get the money, you have to do. But
how many middle schoolers could you take at the same time? Sorry,
that's what Tank's doing, and he's been open about it. And I saw him training. I saw a video of him. Tank Davis training for Jake Paul. He looked like the Pillsbury.
He's at McDonald's.
He looked like Adrian Broner, for God's sake, And he's if you have seen pictures of him, he's fatter than me, So, but I'm just nervous that the success and the reason why I'm asking you guys because you're on the pulse of the younger people, and if this is what they are thinking, what boxing is. That's bad for me.
Hey, I get it, but they are watching the preliminary fights too. They're not just watching Jake Paul. So hopefully there's a glimmer of hope there.
Are they? Are they?
They are.
I mean, the stadium's full for the main card. It's not like it's empty.
Well, that's how much boxing you guys watch.
And Billy, I honestly don't know if it has to do with boxing. Right now, the big thing that we see now that wasn't around when we were younger watching boxing, that includes you, Billy, like all of us, is the gambling was there, but not to the level it is now. So think about it. So these young people are watching because they probably put money on somebody on the cards and they're like, oh, let me just see if this pans out. But some of them, like when you're sitting there, why not? I'll watch the boxing. And honestly, it's almost like I'm going to speak to the cousin of boxing, like UFC. You get some of the better fights with the undercards than you do with the big price fighters.
Yeah, you definitely get that on a Jake Paul show. That's for sure.
My man Coach is in the chat room, and he just made a comment, which is totally true. He said
he called us idiots.
Women,
I knew it.
He's given women's boxing which he has. I mean, the fights with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor were great fights. We had Harvey Dock, which was a referee for one of those fights on the show a couple weeks ago, and he said it was fantastic. So and I'm not criticizing Jake Paul's promotional company because I think he's doing a fantastic job, and not so much the event. But just him claiming that he's a boxer. And I think fighting Tank Davis is a good example of that.
Yeah.
I think eventually you'll see him make a transition, to your point, Billy. I think he'll end up saying, you know what? I fought, he's never going to be able to claim he's the best. And like whatever he's going for, he'll eventually hopefully give that up and see, I think I'm better off a promoter or better off starting my own thing or working with boxing more and get to bring the sport up. And I think he's genuinely doing that. He's just got to give up the other one to really focus on the other. And I think
Or
that's what it is.
or his gorgeous girlfriend's going to say, "I don't want you to get hit in the face anymore, so stop." But
Yeah.
I think the problem I have is that exactly what you said, Jeremy. That
I'm always
he's
right,
a
Bill.
boxer,
I've been
he's a
telling you
boxer,
this.
No, he's not about. And I think that's my problem. I think he's doing a great job promoting, and some of the comments made here with the guys in the chat room. Dax says all but Shields and Taylor are with MVP. Holly Holm made it more with the UFC than she did with boxing. Shields, I think, is bad for boxing. Katie Taylor, that's a separate thing. But yes, I think that they're making money. But here's the sad part, guys. One of the sanctioning bodies, I believe it's the WBA, ranked him in the top 15, which makes him theoretically eligible as a title defense to somebody. Now, whether a fight's been offered to him or not, we haven't heard. I haven't heard.
Yeah.
But that would be something that would be impressive if he stepped in and even fought another top 10 guy. I would be impressed with that. Win, lose, or draw, by the way.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw.
I think that's the next move is going to be very telling after this one. I think he either does another clown show or he goes in that direction.
Wait, are you counting the Tank Davis as a clown show?
I am. I don't think that's a legitimate matchup because
of course
he's just too big. So I do count that as
no
another
boxing commission. No boxing commission would ever, at least in today's world, back in when Stanley Ketchel fought Jack Johnson. I wasn't ringside, but I was real young in 1910. But when they fought, and it was, I think it was before even 1910. But anyway, when they fought, it looked like Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul, but it's clearly an exhibition, and they've all said it was an exhibition.
Sure.
And I heard Tank's making $20 million in this fight.
Hey, I'd do it.
I don't blame him.
Right.
So I think that's what his next move, I think, is going to be telling. Does he go and try to go up the rankings and try to get a belt like he keeps saying he's gonna? Or does he does he fight my Nana next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think when it's a genuine fight and he gets knocked on his ass pretty well, and I think it may hit him. Yeah. And he may, someone, to your point, it could be the girlfriend, Billy. It could be like, I need that beautiful face, buddy. I don't, the paper bag's not doing it for me anymore.
There's so much
that
rumor,
may happen.
But there's so much rumor that he's throwing extra coin for them not to beat him up.
But then that's BS. Cause then I hate to say it, but that's not right because it's taken away from the boxing sport.
He's also suing people that are accusing him of that. So
let's
be careful.
He didn't.
The above my pay grade law department.
No, we're good.
There's $8 in that account.
Mike Tyson said it. But hey, listen. I to be honest with you, half of me, just is appalled by him calling himself a boxer, and the other half says to myself, Billy C, because I can't pronounce my last name either. I said, it would be nice to see him in a legitimate fight, another Tommy Fury type fight where he fights a real fighter. Now, it doesn't have to be a great fighter, but not a former basketball player, not a former MMA guy,
not a guy that was retired 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And see how he does, because then you could get an honest gauge for the guy.
Yeah. I agree, and I think that needs to be the next move. Otherwise, I think the WWE should be calling it.
Maybe he needs his bell rung. Maybe he needs to have someone to really crack him one, and
that's why we watch
from underneath him.
I'm watching, waiting to see him get clocked.
Someone clock him, and then you go, "Oh, he took it hard. He felt like a ton of bricks," and then you will see.
Well, eventually, half his buys are coming from guys
people that just want to see him get knocked the F out.
I mean, truthfully, back to Mayweather, same thing. A lot of people bought his fights, to watch.
Hoping to be
I'll
there.
never forget. We did a live broadcast of the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight. We weren't calling the fight because we couldn't.
Yeah.
Hey, Dax, I'm not wearing a Jets shirt. This is a Talkin Boxing thing. He's criticizing me with my being a Jets fan. Yes, it's hard being a Jets fan. It is. Let's not get into that.
You know what, Bill? Winning is exhausting.
That's it. The show's over.
Winning is exhausting. It's got to be so relaxing to be a Jets fan. You know?
Yeah.
Low
I don't even know
expectations.
Dax just screwed me all up. I don't even know where I was going with that.
You were calling the or you were doing a live broadcast. Conor
Oh,
McGregor.
right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Somebody was listening. But yeah,
like you need a producer.
We were doing a live in between the rounds broadcast on LDL TV during the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight. Okay,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many. As a matter of fact, the whole place that we were in, we were at a sports bar. Actually, we were at Sal's place, but the whole place that was watching that fight was rooting and bet on Conor McGregor in that fight.
Yeah.
And I mean, I knew damn well that Conor McGregor wasn't going to beat Mayweather. You know, I mean, we were hoping he was going to land a shot, but he didn't. And, you can't take a guy like Mayweather who can box, and put him in with a guy who, was not a boxer. And that's similar to what I think we get with Jake Paul.
So here's the difference there. Conor McGregor was a trained boxer. He fought, he was training in boxing before he was training in MMA. And he has a very unorthodox style. He has great timing because Jimmy and I watch MMA as well. He's got great timing. He knows how to dodge a punch coming at him.
Who's this?
And Conor McGregor.
Oh, Conor.
And Conor McGregor's left hand could put anyone to sleep. If he threw that left hand, and he was very awkward in that fight, and I don't even know if he ever threw a real punch or if he was just tapping him. Like it looked like he was just tapping him. If he threw a left hand and connected with Floyd Mayweather, he would have knocked him out. He would have knocked him out cold.
I think I recall him connecting with a couple.
Yeah.
But here was the worst part. The worst part of that fight was that Munguia was a fighter that was trying to get a fight with Triple G around a little before that fight, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission turned it down because they said Jaime Munguia was not experienced enough. I think at the time he had 20 something fights, and they said he's not experienced enough to fight Triple G, but yet they approved Conor McGregor, who had no professional boxing fights. He had all his MMA fights. And they approved that, and that was Floyd's 50th win. So to me, that was a little bit of a circus show too,
So why do you think that's happening, Bill? From someone who watches boxing, from someone who doesn't really watch it, and it seems like that's not just a one-off. There are other fights, like even Jake Paul. I don't care. The guy's built like an ox. So what? I see people in the gym that are huge. Doesn't mean they know how to box. Why is he getting the permission all of a sudden? Is it that boxing
money? Yeah,
are they turning a blind eye and they know the sport may be hurting a little bit and they're trying to bring it out? But are you going to bend your rules to make it happen? Like, where's your integrity line? I guess I should say for the sport.
All right, so that's a multi-answer question. First of all, when you're talking about Jake Paul, what makes him not susceptible. I'm having a hard time talking today, and I haven't even had a scotch. But he's doing exhibitions, so that doesn't fall under the same guidelines as a professional boxing match. A professional boxing match would have to fall under the rules and regulations of the governing commission, whichever state that they're in. Now, as far as the other part of the answer, boxing has always followed the money, and I'm not going to accuse anybody specific, but there has definitely been some corruption, and I think that believe it or not,
breaking news, everyone.
I know, but the
Touch
problem,
me and I'll sue.
the problem is the fact that with Mayweather's case, he brings a lot of money into the state of Nevada and into Las Vegas when he fought there. The same thing with Canelo Alvarez when he fought there. So that's, like you said, the money. I mean, that's reality. Boxing follows the money. It always has.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Billy C.
Yeah, well, somewhere I'm following a bouncing ball instead. There's no money. It's I
We're gonna
get a
order
lot
you a
of
brick wall,
they
Bill.
give it back to me.
We're gonna order you a brick wall.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I had a nice fancy office like that. A studio. I mean, sorry. Even the mics, I got the old mic. You guys got all the new stuff.
I think Jimmy has the same mic you do. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, just the cover on it.
Yeah.
I think
You got the pop cover.
I got the Fisher Price.
Jeremy,
mic.
let me guess.
Yeah.
Did Jeremy supply that for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see how he operates. Trust me. But,
I got the same one. What the fuck?
But are you guys watching any of what's going on in the heavyweight division with Usyk?
I mean, we've been watching. We've watched his last couple fights. I don't know what's coming up next for him, but we've watched his last couple fights. It's just kind of crazy how he skates by every time.
I tell you, he's a proven fighter inside the ring. What gets me is the amount of fighters that want him to call him out.
Yeah.
And I was saying on social media today, the guy doesn't have anything left to prove. I mean, theoretically, he could walk away from the sport and nobody could criticize him for it. But on the other hand, I don't want to see these guys that haven't fought anybody all of a sudden get a signature win, and now they're calling out Usyk. I think I thought of an idea that might, and it would never happen because of the greed factor, but if they had some kind of a box off, a fight off, where they take 4 or 6 fighters that are legit, that have climbed the ladder, and have them fight each other, and then fight the winners, and then have the last man standing to earn a shot at Usyk. I thought something like that would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was still impressed that he got past Tyson Fury. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan. And I like him. I like his style, and I like his approach to everything. So that was very surprising to me. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Well, I tell you, Usyk has proven that the mental part of boxing is more important than people think. And Tyson Fury, I know I'm going to piss off, and I got a UK guest coming on, so I'm sure we got.
Hey, I just gave you a layup.
Well, the thing is,
say nice things.
Hey, listen, I've always liked Tyson Fury. I followed him. We had a UK correspondent on this show for years, and I followed Tyson Fury's fights. I believe from like his 3rd or 4th fight on. I've watched every fight, and I've liked him, but I will tell you this, Usyk beat him at his own game. And I think that Usyk used Tyson Fury's strengths against him. As a matter of fact, even though Usyk beat Anthony Joshua, I personally think Anthony Joshua matches up well with Tyson Fury because of the size, that they're the same size. I don't know. Usyk is a tough nut. I mean, I don't see a heavyweight out there beating him. I thought Daniel Dubois would. I thought Daniel Dubois would have beaten Usyk if he fought the way he beat Anthony Joshua, like Mike Tyson. Coming right after him, use his strength against him, and he didn't. Usyk has a way of getting fighters to fight him the way he wants them to, and that's what Daniel Dubois did. And Fury, Fury claims he won the fights.
Of course, everybody says that.
Well, Fury's
just like back. Everyone after court. I won. I'm innocent. I'm innocent.
He's the wrong person.
They'll say that in jail too. They load him.
Exactly.
Hey, you got the wrong. I'm in here. I'm innocent. It's amazing. Everybody in jail is innocent.
But your boy Tyson Fury is going to come back in 2026. It was officially announced today.
I'm excited for that. And hey, Above My Pay Grade loves the UK. Spread the word. I don't know if you know this, Bill, but we actually have one listener in Bulgaria. We wanted to say hi.
Hey, you know what? You got to double check some of those stats on your podcast site, because I used to get zillions from India, and I'm like, what? But it's like, what do you mean? They don't.
We're huge in Bulgaria.
But Dax is making a good comment here in the chat room. He says Usyk and Crawford did what no other fighter has. They've never won a close fight by a split decision or majority decision. which is true. Plus, they both have done another thing. They've both challenged themselves and went after the best guys available.
Yeah.
Something that fighters don't do.
They
too
play it
often
safe.
today.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Agreed.
that was the other part of the question, Jimmy. That I'll add to it anyway. That fighters today, they look for the easiest way out. And don't get me wrong, I believe all athletes should make as much money as they can. I mean, especially in combat sports. I mean, your life is on the line every time you step in the ring or squared circle, or cage or whatever. But the truth of the matter is you got to fight somebody, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The squared circle and ring, same thing. I know.
Yeah.
It was a play on words.
No,
Jack.
no. I said or in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
KFC's
well,
rough
you
up
remember
there,
where
man, I'm
remember
telling
where
you.
our gym was?
Snoop's boxing gym. How could I forget?
That gym, there was gunfight there. I mean, the first
security to
episode
get
we
in
ever
there.
did there, which I won't mention his name, but he lost the tape somewhere. I wish we had, because we were in the middle of doing the show and all the sirens and God knows I was scooping up bodies. And the ironic thing was the police station was right next door. And when the lights went out, they didn't go near it either.
But the funny thing is all the boxers in the gym didn't even flinch. They're like, "Yep, normal day."
No. Well, we made sure we got out of there before whatever that chicken place was across the street. That's where all the killings were.
Jesus.
Somebody asked for a chicken cutlet and they got a chicken leg, and
And that was it.
Came out.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't fried good enough. I don't know. There was a lot of wars going on across that street. I know that. Every morning I'd have to, throw away the single high heel and the needles and shit that were stacked in front of the door. The girls were turning tricks at our entrance. But anyway, they were the good old days back in gym time. But anyway, any final thoughts, fellas?
No, man, we just really appreciate you having us on. We keep inviting you on our show, but you're too busy for us.
Whoa, wait, time out. Let me expose you, because you guys don't have a regular time. You have all these. Hey, guess what? We're going to be doing this show like in 5 minutes.
Hey, this is the new thing, man. Time slots. What?
Time slots.
What are you, a boomer?
Time slots of things of the past.
Hey, look, you name the time and we'll have you on. We'd love to.
Definitely.
It'd be fun. Yeah.
No, that I definitely definitely would like that. And I can abuse you guys the way
that's it.
Poor little old Billy C. But how can people get your podcast?
Yeah, so we're on all the major apps. Just search Above My Pay Grade, or just go to abovemypaygradepodcast.com and you can subscribe to everything there. We launched our first product.
You, right? They get to see you guys. And
no, we're just doing audio right now. So listen on the way to work. Listen at work instead of paying attention to a meeting. We got a lot of people telling us they're listening on the treadmill. I'm like, that's cool.
Perfect work.
Hey, they should be listening to my show on the treadmill. Come on.
So this week we launched our first free product download. It's a bingo card that we're calling it another meeting bingo card, where you have all these different things that happen in meetings. So as you're in a boring meeting at work, you could follow along, and somebody says, "Oh, sorry, I'm on mute." You get the spot. Where let's circle back on that, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to have some fun at work during your next meetings, go to abovemypaygradepodcast.com.
I got somebody in the chat room asking me if Dax, not somebody,
what up, Dax?
Asking me if it's on Spotify.
It's on Spotify. Yep. Yeah.
Because this show's on Spotify too. Dax, you can't find it on Spotify, but anyway. All right, guys. Well, listen, I appreciate it.
Billy, thanks.
And listen, I'm gonna email you some things to study on boxing. Then we'll have you back on, and I'm gonna quiz you guys on the sport of boxing.
That's great.
Not related.
Yeah, I'll just cheat off Jimmy, just like science class.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure we're watching. No slipping each other. Well, who knows what you're slipping each other? But anyway. All right.
Hey, you don't want to know.
But all right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Ciao.